And so my first question to you is, as a first-time buyer, what would you recommend I do first on the Flippa platform to get the most out of it?
Sure. Well, if you're a first-time buyer signing up for Flippa for the very first time, the first thing you're going to want to do is set your buyer preferences. What kind of business are you looking for? Let us know so that we can match businesses to your profile. So when you first sign up for Flippa, we actually bring you to this screen here, and it lets you let us know, are you interested in e-commerce? Are you interested in content sites? Are you interested in SaaS businesses? What industries do you prefer? Right now, travel is hot. Lifestyle is always hot. Maybe you're interested in business. And most importantly, what's your price range, right? What's your budget? So if you let us know what your preferences are, what we're going to do is every single day, no more than once per day, we're going to send you a list of businesses that match your preferences. This comes straight to your inbox, so you don't even have to go to Flippa to find the sites that are right for you. We'll just send them straight directly to you.
Okay. And so just to be clear, how do I get access to this page? Where do I find that?
Absolutely. So if you're already signed up for Flippa, what you're going to want to do is click Update Your Buyer Preferences in the upper right up here.
Yep.
And that'll take you right to that screen.
Okay, easy. Fair enough. That sounds easy enough. So you're going to send me these saved search emails. I'll have a new list of assets to take a look at each day.
Yep.
And ultimately then I find myself in Flippa's search environment.
Pretty much.
So talk us through search. We have over 10 million search impressions each month. That's a huge number of buyers active in this space. Mm-hmm. So what's actually happening in the search environment? What should I actually be looking for, and how does the search experience work?
Sure. Well, there's definitely a lot happening in the search environment right now. One of our challenges is that we have so many listings for sale. At any given time, we have between 3,500 and 4,500 businesses for sale. So how do you make sense of that, and how do you kind of navigate your way around the site? There's a couple of ways. You can use the navigation up at the top here. You can also go straight into search. But we're trying to actually make this a little bit easier for you. So one of the things we've introduced recently is this new section here called Our Favorite Searches. And what these are actually curated searches that we and the Flippa staff have curated for you to help you find your taste and get you down the right path a lot simpler and a lot easier.
Fantastic.
There's one in particular I'm going to go through right now, and this one's called Built for Beginners.
Okay.
Perfect for this webinar here. So these are low maintenance sites that are usually content sites or maybe some dropship sites. They're earning a little bit of money, but most importantly, they're well priced. So we think these types of sites are really just perfect for beginners if you're first getting into the game.
Okay. So that's from the Flippa homepage. You've chosen Built for Beginners, and so what was the actual search query that we ran there?
So this query is looking at websites and dropship sites that have a monthly profit between $25 and $100 per month.
Yep.
And a price between $500 and $3,000 per month, which we think is a pretty good price point to start if you're just getting into buying. Is that right?
Yeah, and of course, some people have far lower budgets than that and far higher, but I think that's a really good example. We see a lot of assets sold between that price range.
So you can tweak these filters however you'd like, if you want to adjust the age or the budget or the profit. But this is actually a pretty good place to start. And I'm looking at some of these listings here, and there's actually some really great ones. This one here in particular is interesting, thefastingdietplan.com. So this website's making $84 per month.
Okay.
You can see it's got 9 bids, and there's just under 3 weeks left in the auction, and the price is only at $1,100. So as a buyer, I'd actually go ahead and click on this and see what it's all about.
Okay, fantastic. So we're now arriving to what we call a listing page. And so one of the things I find really interesting, and you've got a lot to go through here, but just tell us a little bit about the seller.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So one of the first things I know I do when I'm looking to buy a site is look who the seller is. Because remember, when you're buying a website, you're not just buying the site, but you're also buying the seller of that site and all of the effort and energy that they've put into the site. So you want to make sure that seller is trustworthy. And in this case here, you know that the seller is doing everything they can to show Flippa and show the world that they are, in fact, a trustworthy seller to deal with.
Yep.
Specifically, we know that this seller has verified his email address, his phone number, and a government ID with Flippa. So this seller is doing everything right, and they're doing everything they can do to show that they're a trusted seller.
Okay. And so we can see that there's some information which is highlighted in green. What is this? I personally love looking at the at a glance section. Why do we think that buyers should spend time in this area?
Well, at a glance gives you the two most important things with any, well, especially with any content site, which is traffic and financials. The first thing you're going to want to look at is the traffic. Now, this site actually has really pretty good traffic, and it's nice and steady. That's another thing we like to see. It tells you the page views, and it also tells you the unique visits per month. But the really interesting thing I want to point out here, aside from the fact that the site is 7 years old, which again is
age is a fantastic thing. It's fantastic from a domain authority standpoint. It means you're going to get some organic love. But the other thing about it is that the brand's got some credibility.
Absolutely. And the really important thing to know with the traffic here is that the seller doesn't just write these traffic values and send it to Flippa. This is actually pulled straight from Google, right? Straight from Google Analytics. And so you know that the seller can't edit this data or make it up, right? This comes straight from the source. On a similar note, down here in the financial section, this is the second thing you're really going to want to focus on is, how much money is the site making? Because ultimately, this is the most important thing. Now, the seller's got a couple of different income sources, but this line in green here is AdSense. And similar to Google Analytics, how we're pulling that straight from Google, what we're saying here is that this is verified AdSense revenue. So again, this comes straight from Google, and we can see that the seller's making 30, 40, in recent months, $50, $80 a month in verified AdSense revenue. Okay. That's just one of the income sources.
Now, of course, in any given asset, there's the objective detail, which we've just gone through here. And then there is, of course, the seller's notes. So what they're saying about the business. Why is this such an important section, do you think?
Because every business has a story, right? And as the buyer, you want to understand what the business's story is. So the seller's notes section is the seller's chance to do exactly that. This is actually a rather interesting one because this gentleman actually purchased this site on Flippa back in early 2014. So now he's selling it, which is exactly what we want to see. This is great.
2014. So he's essentially, he's bought it 6 years ago. So it was 1 year old when he bought it.
Yep. And
so he's just added, he's added 6 years of credibility to this asset. Now he's reselling it on the platform.
6 years of credibility, 6 years of value. And this is where you can get into the nitty gritty on what that business story is. So how does your business make money? Well, this site makes money from a variety of sources, which is something we love to see as well. So you're not dependent on just AdSense or just Amazon affiliate. This one's also got ebook sales. This is fantastic. I actually really like this listing. I might have to go watch it.
We might lose you. You become a flight risk all of a sudden. You're going to acquire this asset and move on.
And one of the most important things here is to find out why the seller is selling the business, right? So this is definitely an interesting one. Who would this business be perfect for? Read through this, and if this matches what you're looking for, then it sounds like a great match.
Should we talk about that ever so briefly? Why are you selling this business? We find that lots of first-time buyers are really skeptical. If something's 7 years old, if something's performing, if something's doing as well as the seller says it is, why would they be selling it?
Yeah, this question we get all the time, and the answer is usually a lot less interesting than you think it's going to be.
It's very simple.
It's usually just, I don't have enough time, I want to exit, or my circumstances have changed. What other reasons? I mean, those are the two big ones.
Yeah, I mean, we saw an example of I think it was a 20-year-old blog in the crochet space, and the individual who was behind that asset was retiring.
Yeah.
So it's as simple as that. You find that a lot of sellers on Flippa own multiple assets too. And so much like any asset class, there is a little bit of trading, shifting of assets to find liquidity. And so where they can find liquidity, like in this example, the likelihood, and I must admit I haven't read the why you're selling this business situation here, but it's probably because they want to reinvest the money somewhere else.
Yeah, free up capital, buy another site, on and on we go.
Fantastic. Okay. All right, so I'm interested in this. I can see a couple of things. I can see that the current price is $1,100, which means there's been some bidding activity. I can see that there's 20 days left in the auction. Now, this particular example is an auction, but people can also price their business at a fixed price level, right?
Yeah, we have auctions and fixed price. Auctions are the more popular way to list on Flippa, but fixed price is an option as well. I should add that both auctions and fixed price are open to negotiation between buyer and seller. So to answer your question, what happens next? So the first thing I would do is watch the listing so I get all updates on what's happening with the listing. The second thing I would do is not place a bid right away. What you want to do instead is reach out to the seller and start asking your due diligence questions.
Okay. So you'll notice that on a